I love thee with a love that shall not die till the sun grows cold and the stars grow old. Hello everyone. In this video, we will learn more about William Shakespeare and his masterpiece Romeo and Juliet. William Shakespeare is usually considered the greatest dramatist and finest poet the world has ever known. No other writer's plays and poetry have been produced so many times or in so many countries or translated into so many languages. One of the major reasons for Shakespeare's popularity is the variety of rich characters that he successfully creates. Each character springs vividly to life upon the stage, and as they speak their beautiful verse or prose, the characters remind the viewers of their own traits, personalities, and flaws. Shakespeare also made his characters very realistic. The dramatist had an amazing knowledge of a wide variety of subjects, and his well developed characters reflect this knowledge, whether it be about military science, the graces of royalty, seamanship, history, the Bible, music, or sports. In Shakespeare's time, few biographies were written, and none of the literary men of the Elizabethan age was considered important enough to merit a book about his life. His first biography was written 100 years after his death. As a result, many of the facts of Shakespeare's life are unknown. It's known that he was born in Stratford-on-Avon in England sometime in early 1564, for his baptism is recorded on April 26th of that year. His father owned several houses in Stratford and became the town's mayor when Shakespeare was a boy. The young Shakespeare probably studied Latin, logic, and rhetoric in the local grammar school. By 1592, Shakespeare was busy acting in plays and writing his own dramas. From 1592 to 1594, the play kept most London theatres closed, so the dramatist turned to writing poetry during this period, and his poems, which were actually published unlike his plays, became popular with the masses and contributed to his good reputation as a writer. In 1594, Shakespeare was popular enough as an actor to perform before Queen Elizabeth. In 1598, he bought 10% of the stock in the Blackfriars Theatre, where they began to hold productions during the winter, returning to the Globe during the summer months. Shakespeare's most productive years were from 1594 to 1608, the period in which he wrote all of his great tragedies such as Macbeth, Hamlet, Othello, King Lear, and Romeo and Juliet. William Shakespeare is recognized as the world's greatest poet and dramatist. Drama was the prime means of public entertainment during Shakespeare's time. In larger cities such as London, permanent acting groups were formed and attached to a single theatre such as the Globe, the Curtain, or the Fortune. Shakespeare's company owned the Globe, which was an open-air theatre. Since there were no artificial lights, plays were staged in the afternoon. A thick curtain hid the openings. The stage floor also had one or more trapdoors, useful for the speedy disappearance or reappearance of the characters, especially ghosts. Above the stage was a balcony, usually used for love scenes. There was no stage scenery, although props were widely used. Black stage hangings were used to set the mood for tragic plays, and colorful curtains were used for comedies. Actors on the Shakespearean stage were often used. Boys with high-pitched voices were trained to play women's parts, since females were not allowed on the stage. Romeo and Juliet is one of the early plays of Shakespeare. It was probably written in 1594 or 1595, for it is similar in language to A Midsummer's Night Dream and Richard II. Shakespeare drew most of his plots from European stories that had been translated into English. Romeo and Juliet was probably based on an Italian romance. There is no clear indication within the play of the time setting, but it seems to be around 1200 or 1300. In history, rival noble houses existed within that time frame, and their actions distributed the local peace. People were divided, and a lot of jealousy and tyranny existed. In the play, wealth, culture, rivals, and enmity are all displayed, reflecting this historical time frame. Although we don't know the exact writing time of Romeo and Juliet, the time that passes within the play is very clear. Only 5 days go by from the opening street fight to the death of Romeo and Juliet. On Saturday morning, the brawl in the town square occurs. That same night, Romeo meets Juliet at the Capulet feast, and they declare their love for one another. On Monday afternoon, Friar Lawrence marries the couple. Later in the day, Romeo kills Tybalt. On Tuesday, Romeo flees from Verona to Mantua. The Capulets announce Juliet's engagement to Paris, and she drinks the magic potion that makes her appear to be that. On Wednesday, Juliet's body is discovered and taken to Capulet tomb. On Thursday, Romeo hears of Juliet's death, hastens back to Verona, and commits suicide in her tomb. When Juliet awakens later in the day, finds him dead, she stabs herself. The play ends on Friday morning. That's all about Shakespeare and Romeo and Juliet. I hope you had some necessary information about Shakespeare and the play. Let's meet in another video.